All right, let's take a look at how we would set up this constructor function. Once again, it's going to have the same content as the factory function, but we're doing it as a constructor, so it'll create the same types of objects. So first thing I want to do is set up my factory or my constructor function here. And we're passing in text and department. So I need to have a parameter for both of those. All right, so there's the structure of it. And now let's go ahead and set up the insides of that will define these properties on the object that's created. So we use the this keyword to do that. This.text, and we're going to set that equal to text. And then the same thing for department. This.department, or DEPT, set that equal to DEPT that's passed in. And we also need to set up a date property. And that is going to be the date and time that this object is created. And so we can do that simply using this.date equals new date. We just call the date constructor to create that new date. So this is all the properties on the object. This will create, for any object created using this constructor function, it will have the necessary properties, but we do want to add a method. We want to add this getAge method, and it needs to be on the prototype so that it's not on each object that's created from this constructor function. So remember, the way we do that is we address the prototype property of the function. So post.prototype. And we're going to add to that. Remember, by default, all functions have a prototype property. That is a reference to the prototype that will be added to any object that's created from a constructor function. So we're going to add to this prototype getAge. And this is going to be a function. And once again, this is pretty simple to set up. We just return a new date, and we subtract the current date. And the way we get the current date from that object is this dot date, or not the current date, but the date that object was created, this dot date. And that will give us the age of that object in milliseconds. All right, we've got everything set up there. Let me save that. I've got the server running, so let's jump out to the console here and just take a look at that and make sure it's working for us. We have a 0 for that console log statement. So no milliseconds passed between the time that was created. Let's go ahead and look at the post. Everything looks good there. We have a date associated with it. If we were to look at the prototype, we see the getAge function in that prototype. Let's just go ahead and try that getAge function now. And we see that many milliseconds have passed. Once again, as we continue to invoke that number continues to go up. So that's how we'd create the constructor function. Very similar to the factory function. It's creating objects with the same type of information in it, but this is done with a constructor function. All right, let's move on to the next topic.